Hey everybody, it's Matthias here with the Little Mo Club. I'm here today with Fiona Crawley. Fiona, welcome and big thanks for taking the time to speak with us today.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
So Fiona played for UNC, the University of North Carolina, where she reached a ranking of #1 in the nation. And she won the NCAA team championships, the ITA National Fall Championships, and the NCAA doubles title last year. On top of a spectacular collegiate career, Fiona has a career high ranking of 348 in the WTA Tour, and she qualified for last year's US Open. So Fiona, can you start off by telling us a little bit about your tennis journey? How did you get into tennis?
Yeah, so I feel like you kind of just encapsulated a lot of things that honestly, like I throughout my collegiate career, I was kind of just like, okay, tournament this, train that. I wasn't really like keeping track of all of the different tournaments I was playing, but you saying all of that, like, wow, sometimes like when other people say it, I'm like, no way I actually did that. Like that's pretty cool. Um, but sorry, what was the question again? I was just like,
Oh, yeah, how did you get into tennis?
how did I get into tennis? So growing up, I have two older siblings and we always played. Our parents kind of just put us in all different sports. Like we all played soccer growing up. My dad played soccer for Michigan State. My mom was never the biggest sports girl. She just does yoga and she never was like never did competitive sport, which I feel like is a good like it's good to have her on the road with me now and even in college because even like I feel like sometimes it's a lot of pressure if your parents played the sport that you played. Like I just I don't know if my kids will play tennis. But growing up it was fun because my siblings and I we all played different sports. And then I have my brother's the oldest, and so he took up tennis like randomly. He was at a soccer tournament and it was like there was a delay or something, and so there were tennis courts across the street, and he just went and started playing with his friends. And then my older sister followed him, and then of course me being the youngest just followed them. So it was kind of by accident, but my brother is 6 years older than me. So by the time he started, like I started playing tennis, we were living in Florida and I was like 2, 3 years old. So I don't really know life without tennis. So yes, it's a sport and yes, it like was a hobby that turned into the sport that I play, but it's really just a lifestyle at this point for me and one that I love so much that's like really helped just shape who I am.
And for you, when like was there a particular moment where you knew like, oh, I'm pretty good, like I should start taking tennis more seriously? Did you amp up your training sessions?
Like it took a while, I'm not gonna lie, like all the way until I decided that I wanted to go to college and had like a goal. I would say like elementary school, middle school, like of course you're a kid. Like I was just going, messing around, having fun, like not going to practice, trying to get better. I would just go to practice to like socialize and be with my friends and like get away from the house after school. But I feel like it wasn't until my freshman, sophomore year of college where I was like, wait, like I could get a scholarship at a college that I would love to go to and like get an education. And pro tennis was, growing up like watching like pro tennis on the TV and everything, like I was like, whoa, like it'd be so cool to like go play US Open or go to Wimbledon and all of this, but it was never a concrete goal. It was always just kind of an imagination. But then having that goal of wanting to get a scholarship and wanting to get a scholarship wherever I wanted to go and having that option um gave me something to work for sure. And then I started taking it much more seriously.
And Fiona, we know that you played the Little Mo tournaments at some
I
point,
did.
and we wanted to ask you a little bit, how was your experience at the Little Mo? What do you remember about the tournaments, and what was the thing that you liked the most?
Yeah, so it was a long time ago, like over a decade. So my memory is not great, but the Little Mo tournament was definitely something that, just I remember like forever, like even though it was so long ago, it'll always be really special to me because I was playing girls who I still am playing in college. The first girl that I played in round one of like the regional tournament in Austin, Texas was Kylie Collins. And she played at Texas. I played her many times in college. She was one of my roommates' best friends, Sarah McClure. They grew up together, and it just kind of goes to show that tennis, although international, it's such a small community. And there are girls who I met when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and I continued to be friends with and compete against and support. know like throughout all of these years. And Kylie's mom actually, the Little Mo tournament, you give a gift in the first round. And Kylie's mom came up to me, I want to say it was like freshman or sophomore year of college, and she was like, Kylie still, so the gift is supposed to represent like where you come from. So I'm from San Antonio, Texas. So I gave like a little it was like a little pouch that I want to say it had the Alamo on it or something of that nature. And Kylie's mom came up to me and she was like, she still has that in her bag to hold her hair bands. So it's just little things like that where I'm like, wow, like in the moment when I'm 9 years old, I'm not really thinking about, Little Mo's story and the history behind it and the significance of it. But then over a decade later, I'm like, wow, like that was so cool and something that I'm going to remember and look back on and smile about like for the rest of my life.
And your journey as a tennis player is obviously, I mean, it's been spectacular. It's a dream for any junior player. And what would you say would be the 3 or 4 most important things that you remember that you did, to get where you are and to achieve everything that you've been able to achieve?
Yeah. I feel like the main thing that like always helped me throughout juniors and even college and is, if I'm being completely honest, like kind of getting in my way right now as I'm approaching tennis as more of a job than a game. I feel like it's just like to always like have fun and not to take it too seriously, because if you have that mindset, honestly, I feel like this applies to everything in life. It just becomes more enjoyable. Like just have fun with it. Like find a way to smile and on court, like I 100% play my best tennis when I like, even if I lose the point, if I just like have a good time and it's like a grind and like a crazy point, like I can't help but like smile and just be like, wow, like no way I get to do this. And like, again, like now that I'm looking at it as a job, like no way I get to get paid to do like the thing that I love. So I feel like that's an approach that like can just help everyone like in juniors, especially with tennis, which is a pretty like mentally and physically taxing sport. It's hard to always keep like that kind of like mindset, because you have to have obviously like drive and like be intense in certain moments, but I feel like trying to be intense while also having fun with that intensity is a really big component of it. And then just like the idea of like never giving up. Like don't ever, even if you do get down, like make sure you pick yourself back up, and like it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to lose. Which is something that like I've never been okay with. But it's okay to lose, and sometimes you learn more from the losses than you do from the wins, because it's hard to, after you win, like sit down and be like, but I did this wrong, like I need to work on that. But then the losses, it kind of forces you to do that. So I feel like just never giving up on the journey of it.
And a few weeks ago, Fiona, you played the Whiteman Cup, which was the 100th anniversary of a very
Yeah.
important ladies match between the U.S. and Great Britain. How was it?
It was literally so cool. Like it was my first time in England. And James and Sonia just welcomed us with open arms, and my mom came out with me, and I got to play doubles with Alana Smith, who I've only ever played against her in singles. It was kind of a joke. Like the first day that we were together, we were hanging out. I was like, Alana, like I literally got this tattoo like when we won the national championship. And she was like, yeah, when like UNC beat like NC State. And I was like, I'm sorry, like yes. But it was really fun just like to be able to become friends with her and get to know her better and represent the US as like former ACC competitors. Again, it just goes to show how tennis is such a small world, and like it's really just like relationships and memories that you're going to build forever, which is what is so important about this event, and what used to be so important about this event, and what I hope will continue. Again, like I hope America will host it next year and it can continue the legacy of it, because it's really just such a cool story. And I was so honored to be chosen to be a part of it with so many legacies like that came before me. So it was just really a cool experience, and playing on grass was crazy.
And but how's it organized? I mean, how are you selected to go and play?
So I actually had no idea. My mom asked James how and why I was selected, and he said that he chose the players. he said that he saw me play at the US Open and he loved my fight so much and he wanted me to come and compete in the Whiteman Cup and represent USA. So I was really honored that someone just from watching me play was like, I want that girl to represent um and play for this event. So that was really humbling and definitely gives me motivation to just keep trying and keep fighting because I've never been the best tennis player, but I'll compete.
Well, Fiona, to wrap things up, I mean, what are your plans for 2024? What tournaments have you got in mind? Have you gotten goals that you're chasing?
Yeah, so I definitely have goals. I'm working towards writing them down, which feels a lot scarier than just having them in my head, but I feel like writing them down will make them concrete, and if I can achieve them, then amazing, and if I don't, then they'll just stay there and I'll just keep working towards them. But I'm playing 3 in a row, and I fly to Evansville tomorrow. So I have some tournaments that I'm gonna tour around in the US. And then I'm still in school. So you texted me and I'm midway through an analytical essay on Latin America. So I'm grinding that, but I'll be done. I've told everyone July 30th. So once I'm like officially, because I have my major, I just have hours that I needed to finish. So I've taken 4 classes and it's tough, but I'm trying to like appreciate the last classes of school because I love education. Like I loved going to school. But now that I'm just trying to focus on tennis and one thing, it's kind of like tough. Like tougher than when I was at school. But I'm trying to appreciate it for the last moments because once I'm done, I feel like I just have the personality to be like, but like, what do I do? Like now that I'm done with practice, like I'm not gonna open up my computer and start like reading and writing. Um,
Right.
I'll find something else. Don't worry.
Well, thank you so much, Fiona. Thanks again for taking the time to speak with us today. We wish you luck and success in the rest of your journey, and we'll be following you
You.
close.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good
Okay.
one.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.